Boom. Now we're live. How's it going, brother?
Hey, watch this. Watch how weird this sounds, Brian.
Hmm.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Arm Talk on the Through the Fingers podcast show. And my guest will be Mr. Brian Parliament. And Brian, first and foremost, for the viewers out there, I do apologize. If anybody knows my show, this is not my setup, right? I'm in my garage where I do all my training and stuff, but we're having internet issues. No, excuse me, Wi-Fi issues. And we just went to a new provider, and right now it's being wackadoo. So I couldn't get my laptop in my office. We're just trying to iron out some kinks, but I decided to do this down here and go offline in order to do this show. So everybody, thank you for watching. Give my man, Mr. Parliament, some love, like and subscribe.
Thanks, brother. Thanks, man. Yeah. Well, internet, shit happens. It doesn't matter. You know what? We'll do your show on here. That's fine. It's
Yeah.
all good. Yeah. Lots going on. Lots to talk about. There's like
Hey, let's get
tons of
into
shit
it.
in the
So,
air. Yeah.
well, you want to talk about the elephant in the room, Arnold's what's going on right now?
Yeah, might as well. Yeah.
So this edition of the Arnold qualifiers, well, for the first time ever, the Arnolds will is representing the left-handed class, and they have multiple classes. So in recent years, like the year I went, 2019, and you have four classes. They're all right hand. So you had 54s, 76, 98, and 199 and over.
Yeah.
Four classes, right? And you figure then I think the ladies had two classes. But what you did is that you had a 2 hour window on the preliminaries, day one, and whatever you didn't finish, you had to finish the following day. Now with this one, you got to realize that there's a 220 class, 242 class, which they had the last one. Then they got a 175 class and a
Yeah.
176 and over class. So think about that, right and left-handed. I'm not sure exactly the weight classes for the ladies, but that's going on. So I'm thinking, okay, it's a lot going on. My 2 cents. I'm not sure because there's other events too, by the way. Like there's like a round robin event there. There's a some super matches for athletes that are there that's going on. And this is no stick at them. I'm just kind of curious and wondering because they got their own booth, so they can't get kicked off.
Yeah.
But is it necessary? Because a good friend of mine, he's pulling left hand, where the preliminaries was today, but the finals will take place Sunday. So if you're in the finals left hand, you're not competing tomorrow.
I know.
Never understood that. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't like the way they do it just because I think they risk too much. The risk of injury, the way they split it up, I
Mm-hmm.
don't like it. I don't like it. Like I understand I've had it where, we pull and we do the finals at the end of the event that day.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. But even that, sometimes I've seen guys come in, they've had that few hours, now their elbow swelled up or they're, you know what I mean? And it's
Mm-hmm.
just not the same, right? Like, and our central nervous systems, the way they work is they fire up, but you can't fire up that central nervous system again the same way. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I don't know. I don't like how, I mean, I don't think they're thinking about the athletes properly when they set it up that way. And now I know Arnold's, you got to look at them. They got 20 things going on. They got powerlifting, strongman, and they just try to make it work. So I guess I cut them some slack based on just the fact that at least we're lucky enough to have a big event there and mingle and mix with these top athletes in the world. But
Right.
I do think it poses a big risk to injury, like I do. And
Now,
quality of the pulling too. Because if you, both guys are like swelled and beat up and now they're going against each other a day later, what are we giving the viewing audience? I guess it's not about the viewing audience anyway there, because I mean it was hard enough for me just to see shit that was going on there today.
so my question would be, because I don't know if they did this or not. My question would be, did Chris or Will get a hold of the people that ran the Arnold in the past, just to kind of pick their brain and go, hey, when you guys ran this, so we're talking, the Arnolds first started with Frank and Karen Bean. They ran it for a while, for some years. And then after that, it was Denise and Leonard. They ran it for some years.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, did they ever get a hold of them? And they may have, I
They
don't know.
probably
But
did, but that they didn't change anything because
right,
this what we're talking about right now is the same thing we were talking about last year at Arnold's and the year before at Arnold's. So it's like nothing's really changed at Arnold's. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? You think that maybe, I mean, maybe they did talk to the Arnold's and they said, sure, you can hold it now, but this is how it's going to be done.
Right. Well, I
But we
mean,
don't know.
if that's the case, then I guess we're the ones that are going to have to adapt in, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Okay. Well, I mean, that's good. I'm sure the other elephant in the room and people are probably chiming in. I know Ryan Grun is on 90% right now. Go check
they
him out,
are. They're over
everybody.
there. I was in there already, and I'll go in after this one. Ryan runs it till like midnight, so he'll be on all night. So
Oh, yeah.
everybody can
Well,
go over and check him out if you know what I mean after we're done here. And yeah, he brings in 5 different crews of guests throughout the night. So yeah,
so
they do
my
like
thing
all
is,
night marathon.
did you get a chance to see the jerseys?
I seen some comments, but I was working, so I didn't get it. I didn't really read into it too much. Yeah.
So the competition jerseys, right?
Mhm.
They're slick, but when you turn around in the back, they have the name on the back. No, like the word name is on the back.
Oh, just the word
NAME.
name. Oh, then that was a screw up. What that was.
So I'm like going, I kind of thought the same thing, and I was like going, I was talking with Grond, and I thought the same, like, are they fucking with us? Like, they really just put the name on there, and like it says NAME name. I'm like, wow. Every competition jersey was like that. So I don't, of course, I'm sure there's gonna be memes coming out, but
It might be they might have done it that way instead of leaving it blank because maybe they didn't have the name. They something screwed up. They didn't have the time frame to put the name on. But no, you'd be better off to leave it blank. So at least that way you can get your name put on afterwards. Yeah, actually, I don't understand just the word name there. Like that sounds like they got a prototype shirt, like a draft.
it's right because for me, it's like, again, participating in the past, all the advertising is on the back of the shirt, right? And
Yeah,
then you got that particular year's logo of the Arnold on the front. So,
yeah,
and rightfully so.
yeah.
But I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's like going, wow, name. So it kind of caught some eyes and was like, what is this? I've heard some other things about unorganized, but I'm not going by that. I'm just going by what other
I
people are saying
I
that's
think it
been
was
there. And
being a promoter and dealing with clothing and stuff. It sounds like they might have changed the clothing provider last minute and then
right,
that's what they got. Yeah, saved a bunch of money, but got the word name just on all the shirts. You
right.
know
And
what I mean?
I don't want to. I don't want to
I don't know.
harp
I'm
on them too
speculating.
bad.
I'm speculating. I don't really, to
Right,
myself, I don't make big things out of little things like that.
right,
To me, I just like having the shirt from the event, right? And if it's something weird like name on the back, well, that's something that even adds to it more. Remember that year they just had name on the back? I got that shirt. You know what I mean? It can
right.
still, you can still rock it.
Yeah, I mean, out of practice, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't want to harp on them too bad because they got a lot going on, a lot on their plates. This is the first time they've done that, and they got like a lot going on. So I'm gonna just go ahead and let those guys be, and hopefully everything else turns out great. Now the reason for tonight's show, we could touch about a couple things. I wanted to talk to you because watched the last couple of shows.
Yeah.
Talking to my man, Mr. Gelder, right? Mr. Gelder, what's going on?
The man.
Um, Tell people and myself more about the M spots. I know the story with they kind of
How we
split and went
met.
their separate ways, and they're doing two
Well,
different things. But
I can tell you, yeah, I'll try to tell you in a nutshell. It's a little bit of a story. So like this whole blow up in arm wrestling in the M spot, it kind of all started when Alberta and Montana met each other. And there was 2 promoters, but they were one, right, at the time, right? So
mm-hmm.
we came together and we ended up doing this big event called Armsgeddon, right? And the
Yeah,
M spot was already they helped out Josh Wilson the year before with the arm bender.
yeah,
And Gelder, he's not from arm wrestling. He's from outside arm wrestling. He's been with the UFC since UFC 121, I believe. And he's
right.
done multiple Super Bowl Super World Series. He's done the World Series. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's produced a lot of stuff, right? So
He's
he's
got some experience.
yeah, oh, he's got experience, production experience. Yeah, like he knows his shit. So he's seen something. He's seen something that it was kind of like what WAL was the vision they were seeing in a sense.
Mhm.
They seen a way to make it entertaining that might be able to go mainstream one day. And Gelder, because it's not really other than the WAL, no one's ever tapped in on it. little game of arms, WAL.
Yeah.
People were starting to get invested. There was actual fans of arm wrestling, right? So Gelder, he's looking at it like he sees it and he thinks if he can get it so it's on a major network, like, major TV network, whatever, he believes with the right atmosphere and a good production, he thinks it can be mainstream. Like he really does. He thinks there's a market for it and he wants to bring that, right? And
Right.
in a nutshell, that was almost the demise of Josh and him, from what I seen. Because what happened was is Gelder knew to do this and to make it mainstream. This is not going to be something you can plan once a year and think it's going to take off. It's something you got to pound in people's faces. You got to put an event on like every month. You know what I mean? You got to do it
Right.
like you need to be active and you need content because that's how you put it on TV. You can't put it on major TV if you're only doing it once a year, right? Now there's a
Exactly.
big cost. Like these productions are 8 to 10 to $12,000 production costs, right? And
Hmm.
Josh Wilson, he wasn't very happy because if they're going to be partners, he was going to have to pony up some of that, right?
Right.
So from what I seen, I mean, they're going to tell you they broke up for different reasons and stuff, but from what I seen, Josh is more happy planning 1 to 2 big events a year. Like he did that armbender. It was an awesome event, right? He had
Yeah.
big names there, everything. He would rather kind of focus on that. And then,
Which
you
is fine if he wants to do that,
well,
by the way.
yeah, that's fine. But it was
Yeah.
just harsh the way that, well, the way they split, they did it on, they made it bad in bad terms when they should have just been like, listen, we have different views, different directions, and we can help each other. That's what they should have done. But that's not
Right.
kind of what happened, right? So one left and quit over text. Didn't even do it like by voice or phone call or nothing.
Right.
And a lot of slander, a lot of I think Josh got on some podcasts, said some shit, and it just went ugly. And now you got like this almost hatred a little bit between the two sides, and it's like it's not really good for arm wrestling. But
Oh,
like
I've been involved in that garbage recently, so
yeah,
I
like
know how.
we're too small. We're too small for that kind of stuff, right? But
Right.
but I have to say, Josh hasn't done me no wrong, right? Like,
Hmm.
but Gelder's been really good to me. So I'm not personally, I don't have anything against either of them. I'd help them both. I helped Josh. I tried to interview all of his pullers and have them on the podcast, and I tried to hype the matches. And so I tried to help him. And Gelder, I'm a little more involved with. Like I
Right.
ref. I want to be involved in every event he does, whether it's refing, arm wrestling, commentary, whatever, right? We
Right.
also sponsor them too. Um, yeah, so I don't know. The two, I think the two will make up one day, or at least the beef will kind of disappear, but I don't think they'll ever mesh again. But that's good because both are doing great things. Josh does these big events at the Armbender every year. Great. That was an
Hmm.
awesome event. He had Sanders there, RVJ. He's had Hutchings there. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, he's had a lot of people there. You know what I mean? So it's really good, right? But Gelder's vision, I'm pumped about because it's a vision that I would like if it wasn't him doing it, it's something that I'd be dreaming about doing. Because I always thought that there's a market for listen, WAL's not coming back because all these contracts and everything with these they don't think they can be competitive. That the WAL was never about people didn't know what the world's best were when the WAL was in. They just knew that this guy Devin got to the table on the WAL and he was entertaining. They just knew Jerry Caderet and Todd Hutchins because it was pumped in their face on ESPN because it was, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
They could have been nowhere near the top in the world and people still would have had you would have built fans and you still would have had people watching it. Like when I watched the WAL when I was getting into arm wrestling, I didn't know if they were the best in the world or not. I just knew I was entertained and I had my favorites that I was looking forward to pulling and watch pull, right? So that's the vision that Gelder sees. He sees that. He sees like, the story, this, that, this guy, he gets up there enough, you're gonna start getting fans, like Brian Parham, they'll like that guy. Yeah, the judge, you know what I mean? Like he
Yeah.
wants to build characters and like he wants to do all the kind of stuff that we, as a fan, like you gotta think of yourself as a non-arm wrestler. How are you going to bring in people that don't arm wrestle or know about arm wrestling? Right.
Right. No, I
Uh,
get that. And
yeah.
then
So yeah.
that's great. And I'm glad because I had about what's today, Friday? So probably Wednesday or something like that. I had like a 30-minute conversation with stuff, and
Yeah.
I told them that, hey, I like what you guys are doing. I said, hey, I want to be a part of that, and he's like, hey, keep October 4th open. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. Because, he even said, I know you're a busy guy and stuff with tournaments. And if you can, keep October 4th open. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah.
And so I told him I would. And I also told him that, hey, if you're looking for some, I got some ideas that might spice this thing up.
Yeah.
And, I told him to him, and I'll tell you after the show. Sorry, folks. Um, and,
These are
and
just
I'll tell you.
ideas. Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you after the show to kind of, hey, what do you think about this? To
Yeah.
kind of go, oh, if it's production,
Yeah.
I have an idea about what can make this thing flow smoothly where we're not wasting time. But like I said,
Yeah.
we'll get into that after the show. I'll
Sure.
throw it out there and see what you think. But
Yeah.
I like the city slickers and country folk, right?
Yeah. That was the second one. That was the second big one. Armageddon was the first one. And
Right.
it was the City Slickers. Yeah. Yeah. And then
And
now
I like that one. I
I
like
like that
this.
one.
Was it the Valentine's Day Massacre? Is that the one?
That was the one yeah, the one we just did. Yeah. Yeah.
So of course, Brendan Till's dad, Saul, was like, "Hey, what do you think
Yeah.
Brendan's chances are?" He actually said something on the post, and since he asked that, let me ask you, since you pulled him
Yeah.
recently, I pulled him January of last year, so that's the last time I actually pulled him. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
tell me, who do you think he matches up well with? And we'll speak in terms of M-spot competition, things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I would say any other like if I was a different top roller, I would
Mhm.
have posed a bigger threat to him. I really took that kid for granted. So, and really that's something you shouldn't do, everybody. Don't yeah, don't take people lightly. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
when I pulled Chuck, I 3 months solid training. But
Mhm.
mind you, I didn't even know about the match with Brendan for 3 months. So, like it was like 5 weeks or something.
Ooh,
So
okay.
yeah, I didn't have like a big like time to get a big training camp in or anything like that anyway. But I did watch all his matches and it was very, very routine. He would just set up kind of high, try to sink this, try to catch a bit, and then he would drive. And
Right.
every match I watched was like that. And I'm like, I'm killing this kid. Like he does one thing.
Mhm.
I get to the table with him that night. Not even the same, man. Light grip, slips perfect. Never even seen him try to slip in any of the matches I watched online. I'm like,
Right.
where did that come from? And I was thinking I wanted the strap because I'm good. I'm better in the strap usually, right? I'm like,
Right.
it really fucked my head up. I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? This is not what I watched on any of these videos. So anyway, I pulled him. I did. I ripped right through him round one, like I usually do, right? But I
Yeah.
want to do that 3 times, right? Now, mind you, if he didn't make a correction, I would have done it again, and I would have done it again, and you would have seen me celebrating. But he actually risked the biscuit. He didn't care if I broke his arm. Like he went like right arm break position and just didn't
I
care.
I
Like,
was cringing when I saw that. I was like going,
oh,
dude, don't do
but
not do this. Like,
yeah, and then I got mad and I'm like, fuck you, I'm stronger. And that's where I screwed up because I ended up spending so much energy trying to pin him and he
mhm.
slowly gained on me and I felt myself losing my shit. I was like, this sucks. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, all I had to do is do what I normally do and press him
Right.
or just kind of reset and go straight back and I would have got him. But I had it in my head that I was stronger, that I was just going to push through his side pressure and no, I end up blowing all my load on the kid, and then you see what happened.
Oh yeah.
Oh, but I think he's a good arm wrestler now because you know why? He watched the way I pulled and he did a lot of things. He must have changed a lot of things and practiced a certain way because he didn't pull like he normally does. Like it wasn't the same guy that I watched in all those videos. So,
Right. Well, I'll say this because I was there when those guys had their first ever tournament up in Athol, Idaho,
okay.
and I went up there and I ended up pulling his brother David, and we're gonna run it back in July this year. And I know ever since then, those boys have gotten extremely strong and they've gotten a lot better and their table IQ has gone up. So, I'm watching because, when I watch these matches, I kind of analyze things. Because I look at it like this, and I want your opinion. You let me know what you think. And everybody in the chat, I can't see the chats. I don't know who's on, but I want y'all's opinion too. So, anytime you're in the super match, right? And let's just say you and I are in a match, right?
Yeah.
Brian wins the first one. I'm thinking, okay, it's up to me to make the adjustment. So
Yeah.
whoever got pinned or whoever lost has to make the adjustment, because if you're winning, why should you change anything?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
So, that's how I look at it. So
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on that?
No, yeah, that's my thoughts exactly. And at the same time, that was me thinking, why do I change anything? I just buried this kid. You know what I
Right.
mean? And then he did make a change. Mind you, I thought it was pretty risky. Like I was thinking in my head, like I'm going to hurt this kid at a second there. But it was only like 10 seconds later, it was my arm was started going back towards, the wrong way. And and you know what? I think I was pretty done after. I mean, second round, I came back at like 70%, and he felt the same. Like he had good
Mm,
endurance. Like he didn't get tired like I did. So
right.
mind you, he was using his bones and I was using my all my strength, which is a mistake. Like I made a lot of mistakes. That second round just basically was why I lost. Um, but no, like his ability to switch everything, he did it right. Like you're right. The first round I pinned him. I looked at him. It was like he was like this. I knew that was going to happen. Why didn't I do what I was set to do? Like it looked like he was already saying, "Yeah, I didn't do it. You got me." You know what I mean? Because the
Right.
next round, yeah, it was different. It was different. He just went in there, stacked that bone line, and he just like didn't care. Didn't
Mhm.
care. Like, yeah,
They, those guys have gotten good. Him and David, they've gotten
yeah,
better at that. So they came to
yeah,
my event last summer, and they both had matches, and they took out some really good Oregon pullers. They took them out. I
yeah,
think one ended up winning like 3-0, the other one 3-1 or something like that. So
yeah.
they're come a long way. So as far
Well,
as the league of the M spot, those guys are a good addition to
oh
that
yeah,
league.
and they're
So
part of it. They're part of that. David's got a match coming April
is it
5th.
April 5th? Is that the
Yeah,
one?
yeah, April 5th. Yeah. I'll be
Okay.
there. I'll be reffing. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think I'm signed to ref that. Yeah.
So who's he pulling again?
Dustin Houghton. So
Oh
it's
yeah, that's right. That's right.
it's gonna be me. It's gonna be me with a lot more speed. So
Gotcha.
yeah, Dustin's going to the finals on right and left at Arnold's this weekend, boys. So Dustin Houghton, just to let everyone know, he's got to pull his brother on tomorrow, right-handed,
Hmm.
Dalton Houghton, and then he's got to pull. I don't know who he's pulling on Sunday, but he's in the finals, so pulling somebody. That's
Are they
left-handed.
related to Lynn Houghton?
Yeah, Len's their dad. Yeah, Len's their
Got
dad.
it. That makes
He's
sense.
he's down
Okay.
there with them, I think, right now.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, Len's
So,
my good bud. They're all my good buddies, actually. So
so what's I heard on the show? You had there's like another event coming up, like a Montana versus,
that's
Oregon.
that's going to be the October 4th, I believe. So you're going to
Okay.
come down as a slicker. Yeah.
Who's gonna be a slicker?
No, country boy. You'll be a country boy. No, no, I'm
About to
sorry.
say,
I
hey,
got it
hey,
backwards.
hey.
No, because they called it city slickers, but I always think of the slickers as being us and then the city. But no, it's not. It's country folk versus city slickers. No, you'll be
Yeah.
country folk. Yeah, and I'm trying to get a match on that card too. So I'd like,
Nice. I can't wait. It's funny because
yeah.
one of my old rivals was really like gassed about this. He was like, "Oh yeah, brother." So if I say that, you probably know who I'm talking to. Who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know who he
Um,
is. Yeah.
yeah. So it
We
was like,
smash you, bro. We smash you.
yeah. So
He's a good guy, though. He's a good
no,
guy.
he's cool people. So me and
Yeah.
Chuck Young, in case for those that don't know, one of my old rivals. We go way back. But he's always been like, yeah, man, this is for old time's sake. Let's run it back. Right hand up they can do. I don't pull right anymore
All right.
because
Yeah.
arthritis and bone spurs has got the best of me. It's like, all right, man. So
Seen
I'm
you short,
basically
though.
down to.
I seen you
I'm,
short, though. You said it might come back.
it might, but right now it's just
Just
it's to the
spotting.
point where if I'm at practice, if someone topples me, it's just gonna shoot some pain. But if I go, it's weird because if I go like hook, it alleviates this
Yeah,
right
yeah.
here. But
Right there,
if
yeah.
if someone tops up and it goes like this, that's when it
That's pain is.
flares up.
I used to get that
So
too. Yeah.
right.
Have you ever tried peptides?
You're like the fifth person that's told me that.
I had it, and I thought, well, because I had multiple injuries. I went kind of crazy my first year in the sport. I just, stupid, right? Pulling
Mhm.
tendons, everything. But I had a brachialis pain And it was about a year and a half, and I just thought I just accepted it. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna have chronic pain forever. You
Mhm.
know, my brack is because it's just really bad because of the way I pull, right? I'm a brack puller, like I'm just
Right.
all in the brachialis. So yeah, I just accepted it, and then I popped my the right here in the elbow. I
Ooh.
popped that. Yeah, that popped, and it was pretty bad. And everybody's like, "Oh, that's 6 months. That's 6 months." And I was like, fuck that. I can't. I'm like 46 years old. I can't have 6 months. I want to pull now. I only have I got till 50. I give myself till 50 to hit a high level because I started when I was 43, right? I've only been pulling 3 years.
Right.
So yeah. So anyway, my buddy goes, listen, just and I'm not and YouTube, this is just an opinion. I'm not promoting nothing or anything, or just make sure it's just my personal opinion. But yeah, he goes, have you tried this Wolverine thing? And I said, no. I said, no, I don't do that shit. And he goes, well, listen, man, it's actually, and then he explained it to me. It just comes from the gastric fluids in your intestines. And he told me
Ooh.
everything. He told me everything it is. It's an enzyme, right? So, and it's used a lot for gut health, people with bad gut health and stuff like that. Apparently, it can help heal the leaky gut syndrome, stuff like that. So anyway, I tried it and my elbow not only did in 10 days did my elbow almost make a complete recovery.
Hmm.
The first time in a year and a half, I had no brachialis pain at all. And I couldn't
And
believe it.
see,
But there's
I
hyper
got
responders, and then there's guys that don't respond so well to it. So it's like,
it's a hit or miss, right? I got this Ziploc bag full of Tiger Balm and stuff over here. I'm kind of
Mhm.
like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I used to
going
use
off of that,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know. But it's just like I don't know. It's just
It's the
at
closest thing to stem cells though that you can get. Yeah.
okay. I mean, I've heard it before. There's a few of my teammates that kind of said, "Hey, you should, figure
BPC
that."
157 and TB 500. The two.
Right.
Yeah.
See, all that's foreign to me. I don't know what all that means. Just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just see letters and numbers and say, "Okay,
Well, see,
fine."
I'm big on after effects. I'm always looking like I'm kind of skeptical towards a lot of needles, like stuff that, even jabs and stuff, like because I'm worried about the after effect, all that mercury in my system, all the formaldehyde, the crap that's in it too. I'm kind of like, yeah, I'd rather like fight this and not have the long-term effects from the, you know what I mean, or consequences, right? But this here, I looked it up and it was like it shouldn't even be banned. Like it's probably banned because it works too good. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's pretty risk free. That's all I
Well,
can say.
I might have made this pain I got in the bottom of the wrist here. So the
Mhm.
bone spur is here, right?
Okay. Yep.
Top of the thumb.
I
And
have
here,
one
just
right
to
here. Yeah.
yeah, it's just to kind of give you so if I were to go my left hand, which is here, I can go up here, right hand, as far as I can go.
Oh, okay. So you
You
can't even
know,
rise and you wouldn't be have a hard time.
no.
You'd have to hook.
Pronate, boom, pronate,
Yeah,
as
yeah,
far as I can go.
yeah.
Now, I might have made that worse because the last competition I pulled that right-handed was the first ever Aries 64 that Corey Miller had in
Yep.
Colorado. And leading up to that, I knew my right was all banged up, but I've taken two cortisone shots
Oh, those are
in that.
bad though. Those are bad. Yeah, don't do them.
I know that now,
Yeah, yeah.
but
They're really bad. They can actually cause worse damage and deterioration there, but it's also bad for you long like cancer wise and stuff too. So don't try not to get those. Yeah, yeah.
well, I'm done. Well, the first one I got, pain went away, temporary pain. All right, I got, but the problem I got the first one in
Temporary.
December, and the
Yeah.
term was in March. I'm thinking, cool. Well, come February, it started wearing out. I'm thinking, dude, I'm like right around the corner.
Yeah.
It's the first ever 64 series, and I felt in my mind at the time I had a decent shot. So I'm like, I'll get one more. And the doctor told me, you keep doing this, you're going to deteriorate your tendons.
Yeah, yeah. He told you. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh
At least
fuck,
he's
I just need to.
honest. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he
Our
was.
doctors aren't even honest. Oh no, this is what you want to do. Yeah. Maybe
And
give you a
I
couple of them.
told him, I said, I just need to get through this tournament. And after that, I'll just go ahead and call it good. And I got through the tournament, I'm thinking, all right, and I was fine.
Yep.
Till the after pull, then it was like, fuck, it was like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, when you're after pulling, everybody's having pizza and beer and you just didn't care anymore. And, woke up the next morning, it was like, ooh, this is not cool. So it's been like that ever since. There's days I feel good.
Yeah.
There's days I don't feel good. So it's just one of those things. But after Doc told me that, I kind of knew. He told me before he went ahead and proceeded with that. But I said, I just need to get through this tournament. So I already paid my $100 entry fee and all that kind of stuff. I'm
Yeah,
gonna just go ahead and go through with it. But that was the last time I actually pulled. That was March of last year.
yeah.
So, competition wise, I don't pull with it. So it's kind of like, I don't know. But I don't know. Peptides, maybe, maybe not. I'm real weary about that, about just putting stuff in.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. And you know what? I would recommend you do some research, go online
Yeah.
actually and do the research. But I personally, like I said, do the research, make sure it meets criteria that you accept, and what
Mhm.
you're willing to do. But I personally do recommend to try it. But at the same time, with you researching it and everything else, you should, because you need regenerate growth, right? And it's right
Yeah.
now, I mean, like when we get older, like listen, Josh Wilson. So he goes and releases this thing. I got mad because he wants to do this drug-free league. And
Yeah.
I'm not against that, right? But I tried bringing up the argument in my podcast that listen, I'm on TRT, but my levels are still really low compared to most people. Like I'm still on the bottom end, like of normal. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't
Go ahead.
take
I'm
it.
just, I'm just trying to.
No, it's
I need
okay.
to plug my phone in, but I'm just
Yeah,
gonna move this. Go
no
ahead. Keep
problem.
talking.
Yeah, but I don't take it to enhance myself, right?
Right.
I just want to be able to like move my arm the next day after practice. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for my life, like my sleeping, my sex life, everything like that, that's important to me too. You know what I mean? So
Right.
that's why I'm on it. I was given a prescription from a doctor, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then I said my piece on the podcast, right? And then he
Yeah.
released a statement afterwards, changed the mission statement, but then put in exactly no, synthetic testosterone is different than natural testosterone. You're still enhanced even though your numbers are
Oh,
low, blah blah blah. He
right.
wrote all that stuff. And I'm like, is this really what you're after? Like, yeah, okay, there's going to be a time and place for tested leagues and stuff like that. But right now, I mean, you're just like realistically, I don't know. I just don't like it. I don't think it's fair. This day and age, I mean, we got food, like even the food we eat, you can think you're eating all healthy and that you should have the best hormones in the world, but we're being poisoned in our food. I mean, we can't even to buy good, really good, wholesome food. You got to go private and spend a lot of money. You know what I mean?
That's just spendy too,
Men's
by the way. So
Yes, yes. Men's natural testosterone has went, it's not us, it's the food, society, the chemicals, fluoride and water and shit like that. You know what I mean?
hmm
Like, like it's attacking us as men, right? So, but
Oh
anyway,
yeah.
yeah. So I think if you're on like a just testosterone and you're not taking, you're not primobolan and tren and D-bol and all, if you're not doing all these steroids and you're on a little bit of testosterone and your numbers are not elevated and they're low, I don't
Right.
see how that fails a drug test.
Yeah.
I
Well, I
just
mean,
don't.
I
I
sat
don't
there. I
see it.
was competing, and I don't mind talking about this now. I don't
Oh,
really care. But
yeah.
at the time, because again, testosterone, your sleep plays an important part too.
Huge,
Um,
huge. I wasn't sleeping at all when I had no testosterone. Yeah.
because I mean, when I was because what I do, we rotate shifts every 4 months.
Mhm.
So the previous shift I had was graveyard.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I'm like, it was hard to work graveyard shift, and then when it was my weekend, trying to get on everybody else's schedule when I'm at home.
Mhm.
So my sleep was patterns are like this, and it was all wackadoo.
Yeah.
And I had went and got tested, and my levels were at 299.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking, all right, that's what the fuck we
Borderline.
doing here?
That's
And I was
borderline.
still decent, I was still strong and stuff. But then I
Mhm.
noticed that when I get more sleep, and I got some more tests, and they went up, not a whole lot, but they did go up.
Oh,
Thinking, okay,
yeah.
but it's just for me, I'm just the old school steak and eggs, whatever kind of
Mhm.
protein kind of guy.
Yeah.
But all the other stuff, it's just for
But
me, it's just not.
even still, it was low though, right? Like
Mhm.
20 years ago, us, like I'm in my 40s. Are you in your 40s?
I just turned 49 a few weeks ago.
Okay, so we're in our later 40s, both of us.
Yeah,
20 years ago, our numbers would have been low 500s.
yeah.
I'm not lying. I'm serious.
Oh,
I've looked at
I
the
admit
data.
that.
Yeah. And even me. Like we do our numbers a little different in Canada. We shorten it. So
Mhm.
um ours that of 30 instead of like you wouldn't look at it 1,000 nanograms per deciliter, you would be under a different chart. But I think I come in about 415 is my number.
Right.
But that's on synthetic testosterone.
Gotcha.
And that was just because I was under 200 when I got tested. Like
Hmm.
I had none. I wasn't producing it, right? And I was having problems sleeping at night. I anxiety, low mood, just tons of stuff, right? So
Always tired, you
always
know?
tired. Yeah, always tired. Yeah, and you don't heal for shit. And I started arm wrestling anyway. I ripped tendons and I was in pain and I didn't give a shit. I loved arm wrestling. But I didn't get tested for arm wrestling. Everyone afterwards said, "Oh, now you're so much stronger. It's because you're on the juice." And I'm like, "It's not really fair, man." I'm like, I work out, I train hard, and I do put a lot into arm. Like I love arm wrestling. I didn't get better because I got a little bit of testosterone. Like, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? It's a tendon sport anyway. You get better. Like first year, you make all your newbie gains. Then you're kind of like at a certain level to about year three. And then you make another big jump because now your tendons are just caught up. And then year five, your tendons are now they are what they need to be. Now your level starts going up like considerably.
Right.
That's just the trend. I can look at every arm wrestler and there's only a few outliers, and that's the trend. First year, newbie gains, then it's kind of like, okay, he's okay. Year three, boom. Oh, he's pretty good. He's at the high. And then 5 years is when you really see that growth.
Right.
And that's tendons, right? People got to
Right.
realize there's guys, big muscular guys that come to practice that I look at, and I'm like, I don't want to pull that guy. And then I pull him and he's like grunting, and I'm just like, this is weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like yeah, like you can't take steroids and become a good arm wrestler either. It's almost
No, I mean,
when people say
and
that, it almost insults the guys that put their heart and soul into it.
wait, here's something I always thought, and I will never judge anybody who does any kind of extracurricular.
Yeah,
That's not my place. If they want to do that, that's cool. Whatever goals they want to reach.
yeah.
The only time things like that bother me is when, because I know some people like this, they'll sit there and they'll take all that stuff, but then
Mhm,
claim I'm only doing TRT, which technically they're not lying
mhm.
because they are on TRT, but then they mix it with other stuff.
Yeah, they're
So
doing
there's that one that bugs
enhancers.
me.
There's enhancers like primo
Right.
bowling. You can be on TRT at a low dose, and primo bowling because it's synthetic and the TRT is synthetic. The primo bowling can almost double the effects from your TRT because it's a
So
buffer. A lot of these steroids don't do nothing on their own. They buff and enhance the other things.
right.
Yeah.
So there's that. The other thing is that if you are that guy that's taking all this gear or whatever, but you're pulling local tournaments and smacking everybody and bragging about it, it's like going,
Yeah.
all right, man, don't be a weirdo. If you're gonna do all that kind of stuff,
Be
then
humble.
hit the hit the
Yeah.
hit the bigger tournaments and and show up and show out. Don't sit there and hang out with the local bit,
Wow. I
county
don't
fairs
like the
events, smacking
I don't
everybody.
I'm not big on ego pullers. I don't know why. But a lot of
Mhm.
ego pullers, I just rub wrong with them. Like there's one, he's not on. I don't know what happened to his podcast. He does a junk removal podcast now. But
Oh, you talking about Paul Italia?
I like him, but I had such a hard time watching him arm wrestle because he's one
Mhm.
of those douchebags. Like I just seen douchery in him all the time, and I didn't like it. But it was tough because I would actually listen to Paul and I've talked to him. Like we've chatted and shit. And I
Right.
don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's a decent guy. But on the table, he just seems like a douche. Like I don't know. You know what I mean? Like
It's weird because it's like going,
he's one of those guys I'm talking about that go to your local tournament and they'll compete amateur, semi-pro constantly and be like, and then brag about it. Like that's the kind of shit. That's who I picture when you said that. I pictured Paul
mhm.
Italia. Yeah.
Well, I mean, to each his own. But I would venture to say, okay, if you're doing the amateur thing, you're crushing everybody.
Yeah.
Raise your game. Go up a level. That way you can kind of see where do you really fit
Yeah,
in that.
I
Because
agree. But these people just want to crush people. They don't care. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a different mentality. Like you and me, we would
mhm,
be like, we'd feel our empathy and our conscience would bug us, and we'd be like, oh, we can't do this. I got to go up. Well, I can't. I'm not gonna. You know what I mean? We would just do it. But some guys, I've seen guys like 5, 6 years pull fucking amateur and semi-pro, And like, why aren't you can we had to tell people no more amateur, like you can't. Like, you know what I mean?
That I never understood that because
Yeah.
you also got to realize this. You and I approached this because we got in the sport kind of late.
Yeah.
I've been in it for a while
Yeah.
after my football days were done, got into this, and I was like going, okay, here's the deal, right? For me, after I started taking first and seconds, it's like, all right, you know what? It's time for me to go up.
Yeah.
So I remember July, I want to say 13th, 2011. And that was like my first full year in the sport because my first event was like December 2010.
Mm.
And July the following year was the day same day, same tournament, I left amateur
With the pro.
and went to open that
Oh,
same day.
yeah. Yeah.
And it was weird because it was like, okay, I took three first that day. First place amateur left and right, and then first place open right. I was like, cool, no looking back.
Yeah. Yeah. And that
But
makes sense.
right, as you and I do,
Mhm.
we all know, and anybody in the chat, you're going to take losses. That's just the way it is. This
Oh,
sport, some of the greatest people have taken losses. Cleve Dean, Brzezinski, Laird, Todd, whatever. They've all taken L's in the sport. If you pull long enough, that will happen.
yeah.
So, of course, we don't want to, lose. I mean, let's be real,
You
right?
never want to
But
lose, but seem to learn the most out of losing, though.
exactly, but it doesn't.
That's how
But
you
I'll
grow.
say this because some people take this the wrong way. Just because you lose doesn't mean you're a bum, or you're trash. I think that kind of stuff that it
Oh,
doesn't bother me, but I kind of sit there and scratch my head like, what? You
yeah.
know what I mean? So it's whatever. But I know I was kind of getting off topic with that. But
Okay.
yeah, getting back to the M spot, I am looking forward to sinking my teeth into that because now
Yeah.
in this area, this region, you don't get a lot of pullers who get the recognition, so to speak,
Yeah. And you
And
will there. You will.
yeah, with Gelder and that kind of stuff, it's like, you know what? Like I said, I got a good vibe from him, talking to him and stuff, and I shared some ideas. Like I said, when we leave this show, and I'll
Yeah.
go ahead and share my ideas. You can tell me what you think. Um, I like that, and hey, for me, it's like fresh pullers. What I mean by that is that okay, now it's like I know this guy, I've heard him before, but never pulled him, and vice versa, that kind of thing. So I'm excited to see what it brings.
Yeah.
I'm all in, man. So
Yeah. No, you know
there's
what? Not only that, like it would be good for you. Like, yeah, like it's a good platform to be like even me, I'm nobody. And I had people that seen Armsgeddon and they see me beat Chuck Young and they were like, oh yeah, you beat Chuck Young and then this and that. And I'd get people saying stuff in the chat or on my Facebook, and I never seen them or talked to them before. And I'm a
right,
nobody, like my level's not very high, right? Like I'm strong and I'm coming up, but I still pretty low, like level wise, right? So
right,
for me to get the eyes and the attention that I got, imagine, you know what I mean? Like that's what I mean.
right.
Like the platforms, it's going to give people attention. And not only that, these are all going to start being. These were on Fight.com. I think they were all aired on Fight.com already. Gelder said
I think
something
so.
about there was like 2,000 people watching on Fight.com or something like that, or some fight network, or he said something. Don't quote
Yeah.
me. I don't know which one. Yeah, I always say the wrong ones, and he's like, "No, it's this one." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, yeah."
So now we can shift gears and talk about the upcoming event coming up, Mac, right?
Oh
That's coming up.
yes,
That's next Saturday, isn't it?
March 8th.
Yeah. So
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
next, yeah,
excited for that. There's two matches that really piqued my interest as
yeah.
far as, it's exciting to me. Um, Jerome Loudon Pork Chop, obviously, I
That one
think
really does me. That's left-handed, right? I think that one's left, isn't it?
I don't know if it is. I'm really that made me even more excited to watch now.
I think so.
Um,
I thought it was.
I can't wait. Jerome's not a social butterfly per se,
No, he
right?
should be. He's a wicked puller, and not enough people know who he is.
Exactly. But here's the
Yeah.
thing. I think he didn't. He got the short end of the stick because if you remember that Challenger series, right?
He pulled Matt.
He was supposed to pull RVJ.
Oh, okay. Oh, in the Challenger
RVJ backed
series. Yeah.
out,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
but for whatever reason, then next thing you know, RVJ resurfaced when he pulled that Global Elite one and pulled out on 4. I'm thinking that's weird. You say you can't pull because of whatever you got going on
Yeah, but
with
you
your own,
will.
but then you hop
He
to
does
RV.
funky shit. That RVJ doesn't
Yeah.
know what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's doing, man, sometimes. So yeah, it's all
Well,
good.
he's part of Team USA in the
Yeah.
arm gospel. You better fucking show up. So,
No, I agree. I've been really hard on RVJ, man, lately.
yeah, he better
Yeah.
fucking show up.
Yeah.
But the one thing I couldn't understand is like, okay, so why didn't he get a replacement match? Never understood that.
He should
And I'm
have.
like, oh, okay,
That's the one that Chance ran, right?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
like,
That
why
was
didn't he get a
fucked up.
replacement match?
Did you? Yeah, I know. Listen, I don't even want to get into some of the controversy of that one, man.
Oh
'Cause that
shit.
one is, I don't want to go live with some of the shit I know. So yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's why my team with Espino's guys, we have an after dark special.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I could do that maybe. Well, as soon as we get 500, we're doing members, and we'll do members only content.
Hey, if you want to know the juice, man, it'll cost you $59.99. So,
Yeah, yeah. Well, I
um,
got some juice, man, but I don't want to put anybody on
right.
the bus right now. Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm glad he's getting this opportunity, Jerome. So I'm thinking this will be a good match. And Pork Chop's just looking stellar, as always.
Pork chop's
Um,
solid. Yeah, it's solid. Yeah.
the other match I'm looking forward to is Artem and Auden, obviously, right? The main event.
Obvious. Yeah.
And this is no shade on Auden Larrett. And before everyone starts to jump down my throat, and all the Canadian fans want sit there and stir stuff up. The reason why I'm excited for this because now we get to see Auden really test himself against a real puller.
I get it. I get it.
Not saying that the ones he had before were not legit, but they were like YouTube sensations. It's like, okay, and I get it. You want to build yourself up. I get that. No problem with that. But now, okay, now you coming to legit. This ain't no Artem. Yeah, he's on YouTube, has his show and everything, but
Artem's strong as fuck, and we know that.
he ain't no YouTube sensation, So,
But I think that match is, when I first heard it. Oh, anyway, no, you say your stuff. Sorry, Jody. I'll tell you what I think after.
no, I just think that now it's like, okay, now here comes the challenge of all challenges. Because I think if
I don't think we're gonna hear, guys.
Auden can sometimes, yeah, this
No, you were
to me, this
frozen.
will be
Sorry. Yeah.
what was that?
You were frozen for about 5 seconds. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Good now. Yeah.
I think that if Auden Larrett can some way somehow get through Artem, then this will be his I have arrived match.
Yeah.
So
I agree. And the thing is I kind of get the luxury of knowing who's pulled who lately and who felt who and all that kind of stuff. And I think the match is going to be closer than people. I think a lot of people are going to think Artem's going to be way too much horsepower and he's just going to rip through Auden. And then other people think Auden's top roll is going to be too much and he's going to take Artem's hand. I actually, hearing people that have pulled them both, in the last 6 months, I think the match is going to be pretty close. And I think if Auden gets like Auden, the thing that's going to make or break this match is Artem's experience in the setup, because Artem does he really focused on the setup for a few years where that's all he cared about. You know what I mean?
right.
And I a lot of the matches that Artem has had are, again, some of them, they're all kind of not good matches for them, but the people weren't that experienced in the setup, right? So now you're going to really see, we're going to see how Auden can handle when someone's equally as good in the setup as he is. But at the same time, it almost means nothing, and it gives the edge to Artem because it's just close your thumbs, close your hands, go, because it's Mac.
Right.
All right. So
yeah,
this is where I start saying you're right. Actually, I'm agreeing with you because I'm thinking it out again.
Right.
Even if I'm thinking something else, I'm thinking it's going to be a real challenge on Auden because Artem's going to have access to his power immediately. So we'll see.
And a lot of people, because we have on our show the Can Connection. Well, one of the shows I'm on, we have our prediction
I watch
shows
that sometimes. Yep.
And just because we don't pick a certain person to win, all of a sudden, oh, you guys are haters. I'm like, okay, you got to pick somebody, right? Like, chill the fuck out. Like, doesn't mean we're hating, but you know, if you watch our show, normally I'm picking this person to win because,
Yeah,
you
yeah, I'm that
know,
way too. It's not usually biased. Sometimes it is. If it's Zach, my co-host, or Dakota,
right.
you might get some biased in there. You know what I mean? But
I think there's a
most of
little
the time,
bias in everybody.
yeah, yeah. No, I'm honest, right? So, but
Mhm.
yeah, you get a little bias. But I'm telling you, most of the time, though, you're going to get an honest critique of what I think. So I don't usually
Yeah,
just pick people for picking people either. No, I look at the
right.
styles, the everything, right? So,
Hmm. Well,
and
my
that's another thing
friend.
about arm wrestling. A lot of people think, Jody just kicked his ass, right?
Mhm.
But lost to that guy a year ago. But that guy Jody just kicked his ass to. Well, he that guy's. You know what I mean? And then you got, oh no, Jody lost to him, so he's not going to beat that guy. That guy beat the guy
Oh
that
yeah.
lost to. It means nothing. Like styles. I pulled people and lost to them, and then killed
Mhm.
the next guy, and then that guy beats the guy that I just lost. I've seen it with my own eyes. So you have to take it
But
all when you're making these predictions, right?
you know, and I know, when you match up with somebody, and to me, and I want your opinion. To me, you don't truly know because when you go to super match, you got okay, here's plan A, plan B, and sometimes plan C.
Yep.
And more often times than not, you don't know until you grip up. Perfect example. When I
Yep.
pulled James Wall when he came to Washington State,
Hmm.
right? From the UK.
Hmm.
And he's known for his hook. I'm like, fuck, if this guy turns me in,
I'm done.
dude, that's it. He's gonna fucking probably throw me across the fucking table.
Yeah.
you know. And I'm thinking, I don't know, man. That guy's fucking put together. I'm thinking, wow. And when I gripped up, it was like, oh. And
He's not what I.
again, this is
Yeah.
nothing against him, but when I
No.
gripped up with him, I didn't realize how bigger my hand was compared to his.
Hmm.
And I'm thinking, okay, that changes the dynamic now.
Yeah.
Because now I don't have to second guess myself. I know what to do now. And anybody that saw the match will see it.
Hmm.
It's
Actually,
on
no.
my channel.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Go
it's like,
check it out,
okay,
guys.
cool. And probably one of my best matches to date. And we're just back and forth. He goes in here and I'm
Hmm.
peeling him out. I try to go for a press and he fucking stonewalls me a couple times and just
Yeah.
yeah, just a back and forth thing. And so again, I guess the point I'm trying to make is that more often times than not, you don't know until you grip up. But you kind of go, oh, okay. So that could be a good thing or it could be like, oh
Can
shit.
be
It
the
could be a bad
opposite.
thing.
Yeah.
So, that's just one of those things. Like with Chuck Young, if you don't know Chuck Young, you grip up and go, fuck, this guy, strong ass hand, But, anybody who's a veteran of the sport knows, okay, you don't attack his hand.
Mhm.
So
I
it's
did.
just,
I did.
yeah.
Did you,
Well,
did
yeah,
you,
you did.
did you watch my match with him? I purposely went all for his hand. Yeah, because he pissed me off before we started the match. Yeah. I
Right. Because
changed my whole game plan for that guy like within a second. Yeah.
right. I
Yeah.
think the last time I pulled Chuck was like, fuck, what, I think 4 years ago. And there was
Hmm.
that big tournament in Idaho. And, we were both in the master's class and it was left and stuff. And, um, he hit first, but I just kind of caught him and kind of just brought him back over and kind of looked at me because before
Yeah.
that it was like when we first pulled, I would get him, and then there was a stretch where he'd always beat me.
Yeah.
It's that back and forth
Yeah. Back
rivalry and
and
stuff.
forth.
But I got the
Yeah.
last win on him. But I'm sure at some point we'll lock horns again, probably
He's
at an Mspot
he's
one of these
only
days. But
training. You know what? He took that match. He had a match remember the Bloody Valentine one? He went up
yeah,
against Jack.
it gets Jack.
Yeah, and Jack's actually no joke. He's actually really good, well versed.
Yeah.
He did win IFA Worlds.
Yeah.
Um, he's pretty good. And Chuck gave him a war, man. Gave him a
Mhm.
war, got him on one round too, and I was shocked. And Chuck actually started going to practice once or twice a week. So he's
Well,
practicing.
good. You can't
Yeah.
just
He used to just
this
show up.
year's
He used to just show up. Yeah. Now he's taking it serious. Yeah.
that's the
Make it.
thing.
Yeah.
This sport, and
You have
there
to
are
give effort.
other
You got to put the effort in. Yeah.
there's athletes out there who probably have a better practice situation than others, right? As
Yeah.
far as, hey, you know what, I got 10 guys to train with every week. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Me, I got two,
Yeah, that's crazy.
maybe three. That's it. That's all I got. And it's like, okay, so sometimes my practices have to be a little different, a little altered, more
Yeah.
workouts and less table time because that's just the way things are.
Mm.
And being just only left-handed, it really limits what I can and can't do.
Yeah,
But
but you still
because those
do what
guys
you
are
got to
lefties
do.
too.
You still do what you got to
Right.
do, right, to be competitive.
Hmm.
And you don't forget how to arm wrestle. I mean, Hutchings, there's times he'll go all year with no practices. And then, a few months out from a match, he'll go to a few practices. But I mean, Hutchings doesn't do a lot of practices. And like,
No, and it works. And that's the so Brian, this is the beauty because this sport, there is no one way to train. You
no,
see, you
different for
see, I'm
everybody.
on a table, right?
Yeah.
There's the elbow pad. I'm on a table. You see what's next to it?
Yeah.
Freaking dumbbell.
Yeah.
And
Table curls. Yeah. I love them.
that's what I do.
I do
People
them. That's
people
one of
think
my
that
favorite lifts. Yeah.
right.
People say they're
I
no
do table
good.
curls, and people.
Yeah, but they're not
Well,
doing them
okay,
right.
so it
They're
may
not
not work
doing
for
them right.
them.
Yeah.
I make it to where it works for me. Now, some people may disagree. That's fine.
Yeah.
I like the hand grippers. Oh yeah, you're gonna invert your hand like this if you're gonna close them. Okay, that's fine. I understand that, but I do it to strengthen my hand, not to
Oh,
do that.
I'm PRing Sunday. I'm PRing on my table curl. So we pick an exercise to PR on every Sunday, and
Hmm.
I'm gonna go shoot for one sit. I haven't really tried to go for a PR, so I'm just gonna start now. This is my first time PRing on the table curl, and I'm going for
Yeah.
160 for my PR to start. So
I can.
I did
I,
145 8 times about 3 weeks ago. So,
oh shit, that
oh,
I got
I feel
standard
good.
weight plates here, so I ain't gonna be able to catch that. But
No, what we do is we use a 115 and we duct tape the weight on the back, on the sides. So we got it
oh, okay.
duct tape. Yeah, we got it all duct taped on. Yeah. You know who got me? I don't know if you've heard of this guy. You probably have. You know Clifton Erickson?
Oh yeah.
He was doing these table curls, and my buddy Dale, he's my training
Hmm.
partner, Deadly Dale. You'll get to meet him. Good guy, good puller too.
Hmm.
But he was like, we got to do that then. We got to do PRs like Clifton. I was like, oh fuck. So anyway, we started doing all these. So now our two main ones we do is a 90-degree strict curl, and
Right.
it's just like this angle, and we go to 90, and then we bring it up. And I think we did our PR right now is 228, but our goal is 260. So we're gonna try to get to 260 on the strict curl, and then right now tomorrow I'm gonna do 160, and then I'm gonna shoot for all the way up to 200 pounds for a table curl with
I'm
me.
gonna give you one thing of advice, man. Be careful.
Oh yeah, no, I'm careful, and I like the table curl.
Okay.
If it goes, it just hits the table, right? So it's like,
Right.
and it's a solid
Okay.
table that we're using. So, but and not only
Gotcha.
that, it's the angle too. Like if you're doing it in an arm wrestling, I mean a bodybuilding motion, that's not going to help you. Like table curls aren't going to help you like that. It's gotta be down. You want it coming down to the pad almost, and then up. You know what I mean?
Watch
Yeah, you,
this.
yeah, you
So
have one there. Yeah,
I'm going to show you how I do this. Can y'all see that? I don't know. Can y'all see that?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So how many people we got in the chat, by the way?
There's only 10 right now, but we keep getting guys are jumping in and out of ours in 98. So,
So it's not straight up here. It's at an
no.
angle.
Yes.
So when I do it, it's more like, I'm here like
Yep.
this,
Yes. Yeah.
like that. So that's
Yeah.
what I do. Bam,
Yeah. Exactly.
bam,
You got to hit those arm wrestling tendons, right?
and not here.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be pulling
I,
here, but
yeah.
thing is though, if for some reason, I get taken here, there's my lock right there.
Yeah.
I'm
Exactly.
good.
Exactly. And
You know,
that's what I'm training. Here, I'll show you quickly. Oh, I got shit everywhere. Oh, okay. See, I use a 4-inch grip on mine.
okay,
Oh, this is a 70. And what I'll do is I'll train it. Yeah, and I'll just come down like this, right? To the side. And then I'll
right.
hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then out to the side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'll do like sets of 30 like that with a
Hmm.
70 pounder. And then that helps me for Sunday when I do my big one.
Right. So yeah, the reason why, and this is where, okay, it may not work for everybody, but when I'm here, out
Exactly.
there, then this they get me to a hook, I can stop them right here.
Yeah, I agree.
Then I
You're
don't panic.
defensive. There's no way that you're not getting benefit from table curls if you're doing them
Right.
right. If you're doing table curls, but in a like you were showing, then no,
Hmm.
you know. But if you're doing table curls and you're doing them right, your defense, I mean, your catching ability's got to get better. Like you
Well,
can't
okay.
tell me it's
So
not going to help
reason why I kind of switched it out, man, I'm known for my fast hit.
it.
Okay.
Yeah,
But, you know, that's fine. But there's times where people prepare for that.
yeah.
So they position themselves to catch that hit. So I'm like, all right. Then I start becoming a defensive puller, because when you're
Sometimes,
one of the
yeah,
stronger people at your practice,
yeah.
you let I say you go and I'll try to catch you, and I just end up being. And
We do that.
sometimes that method kind of bit me in the backside come tournament time, and I was like, oh crap, I fucking missed the
Yeah,
go. So that
but
does
it can
happen.
also, if you miss the goal though, and you're strong enough to catch it,
Hmm.
like it's not. There's going to be times where you're not going to be the fastest guy. You know what I
Right,
mean? And that's
right,
when you need your. I mean, I know guys. If you get them defensive, you beat them all day. They totally rely on that initial hit, and after that, they're nothing. Right? I don't
yeah,
want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. You know what I mean? If you
right,
beat me, there's times where if I know you're quicker than me, I can hit, but I'll hit for hand position, like hand
right,
control. I know I'm not going to beat you to the pad, but I
right.
know that I can do this as fast as you do this. You know what I mean? So I'll
It's
switch it
a, it's
up.
a, it's a chess match, right?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
There you
Exactly.
go.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but hey, my man, this has been great. But I got the
Yeah.
wifey asking me what I want for dinner,
I
and
hear
I
you.
can't
I'm
answer
hungry
her
too.
on the phone. So,
Yeah.
but hey, stay with me when this show is done. All right. But I'm gonna
Yep.
go ahead and get ready to go get a bite to eat. But
Yep.
if I can steal 5 minutes from you
Oh, you
when we
can.
go off the air, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, brother. Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us tonight, guys. We appreciate it. Catch us next. What, you do one of these a week?
Uh,
Or like just whenever? Well, check
just
check out the
whenever.
next Arm Talk anyway with Jody Chocolate Thunder
Yeah,
Williams.
it
And
depends on who's available. Like my next one, I'm trying to gather because we're going to talk about the big upcoming match between Jocelyn Brisson and Sarah Backman. So I'm trying to create a panel for the ladies
that's
so they
coming.
can tell
Yeah.
me who do you think they win and why. I'm trying to put that.
I
I
think
got
she
one
got a
so
win on
far.
a tournament. She beat Sarah in a tournament last year, didn't she?
She
Yeah.
beat her in the round robin. So
Round
now,
robin. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So now it's kind of like okay, it's just one of mano y mano. So we're going to see what's going on. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to conduct that. Once I get to, enough guests, we'll make it a roundtable discussion with the ladies and we'll see where it goes. But I'll let you
Yeah.
guys know more about that. So
Oh, for sure. For sure. Okay. Well, everyone have a good night and we'll talk to you soon.
enjoy
Go
your
over
weekend, folks.
98% if you're still on.